I'm a little crazy.
Yeah.
I'll start with that, right?
I love a little crazy.
Yeah, we love crazy.
It is.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the #1 mental health and addiction podcast, the Hopeaholics. I am your girl, Natalie Eva Marie, and these are my boys.
I'm Chad.
I'm at Shane Earn, baby.
Hell
Bash
yeah.
Brothers.
Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and follow us on our socials and wherever you get your podcasts.
And remember, new episodes dropping every Tuesday and Friday. Check them out.
This episode is brought to you by the Infinity Group. You guys, if you or a loved one is suffering, please call us today. The number is right here on the screen. We are here for you 24/7. Now, let's get into the episode.
Welcome to the
Welcome
Hopeaholics
to the Hopeaholics.
Yes.
podcast.
Yeah, baby.
Ashley, welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for having me,
Yeah.
guys.
We are so excited to have you.
Really
I'm
excited.
stoked
You know
to
what
be
she
here.
does?
Do you
Yes.
do you know what she does?
She's like
Yes.
wrapped into a cockpit.
It's like
She's like blasting off every weekend. It's nuts, bro.
No.
She's like somersaulting.
I'm a little crazy.
Yeah.
I'll start with that, right?
I love a little crazy.
Yeah, we love crazy.
It is. It's so healthy. It really is. And it's, looking back my
Yeah.
whole life, I've always been this person, that adrenaline junkie, seeking the adventure truly. And I had a family that was so supportive of that. And it really just was the beginning of the end from, the day I could remember, because my dad, my very first Christmas, got me an electric ATV for a 5-year-old when I wasn't even one yet. So, it's just, it all started then. And I know I'm just a very blessed girl that from the time I can remember, I had this passion inside of me to go fast, to seek adventure.
Wow.
And I've always chased it, and I've been very fortunate. I've accomplished some really cool things, and now being in a Monster Jam truck,
I know.
no biggie.
Well,
Yeah, like, no
let's-
biggie.
Wait, let's
Just-
take it. We got to take it back because I want to know. You don't just like overnight.
No,
to a Monster
you don't.
Jam.
But you know how complicated
Yeah.
those fucking things are.
Yeah.
I think inside with their shifting, you got the backside going, the
Oh,
front side
so
going.
much going on,
You
yeah.
got 4 wheels going when you land, and you got to land a certain way and then go gas back so you don't.
Oh, you know
flip
your
over.
stuff, yes.
yeah.
You know?
Yep.
And
yeah.
it's really quite incredible what she does in that little machine, and you're not moving. She's like this.
Oh, yeah, no, we are strapped in and locked and loaded. But yeah, so how I started
Yes.
Sorry,
with
yeah,
Monster
really
Jam, though.
Yeah.
Really excited.
Oh gosh,
Wait,
I
where'd
grew
you
up being
grow-
a
yeah.
fan.
Where'd
I
you
grew
grow
up in Southern California, and so Southern California, born and bred. I went out to the Pomona races, drag races, the Anaheim Monster Jam events. With anyone who knows out here, are actually really massive motorsports events. Really, Southern California was the birthplace for a lot of motorsports back in the day, and so it started with my grandpa, actually. My grandpa was a fan, and he took my dad out to all these events, and then so on and so forth. I was the same way. My mom thought by having 2 daughters, she lucked out. She's like, oh, good, we're not going to have any crazy adrenaline junkies. But nope, my dad took me instead. And so, yeah, truly, we started off as fans, but my dad was a firefighter and had his own construction business. One of the most hardworking men I know. He wanted to drive himself. So he worked hard to be able to purchase his own vehicle. And it was actually a sand dune buggy is where it all started. And so out in the desert of Ocotillo Wells, out in Southern California here, is where it just was a recreational thing, a hobby. Out on the weekends, we'd go out and we'd romp around and have fun. And I remember watching my dad and getting to be in the buggy with my dad. And that's where the sand drag racing started. And for me, that's where I was like, I want to be like my dad. And even though it was so small scale compared to, the things we would go watch live and in person, we had that same passion and that same drive. And so that's where it all started for him and for me as well, because he, kept on pushing it himself. He actually was able to get sponsorship and go racing and Top Fuel racing in sand, which is very extreme and gnarly. He was going almost 200 miles per hour and 300 feet of dirt. It's, riding a bull in a race car on dirt. And so he accomplished a lot, but yeah, it pushed me to want to do the same. And so first generation, I didn't come from the background of money. I didn't come from, I had the support. My dad was going to do anything he could to help, me pursue my dreams, but I had to go find the funding myself. So I actually got my very first sponsor. It was a nail polish sponsor. Shout out Gelish. All my ladies know and love it. Yes. Gelish Soak Off Gel Polish was my first sponsor. Was able to go out in a pink dragster for my very first professional motorsport debut event. Yeah. And so from there, I just was hustling to always find a way. And so drag racing was so much fun. I was able to accomplish doing a couple classes, went top fuel racing, which is as fast as you can go, over 300 miles per hour.
She's in the 300-mile-an-hour
I'm
club.
in the club. Oh, it's a great club.
300 mile an hour. Like, is your face just like?
Unbelievably, because I mean, you're in the cockpit, right? So you're safe and snug in there. But there is no other feeling like it. Truly, the adrenaline, the push, it feels like you ran a marathon in 3 seconds because of the G-forces. The negative G-forces when you're stopping the dragster are even stronger than the push because you're decelerating in such a quick speed. It is just, the best feeling in the world. And so got to accomplish that, which was a massive dream for me.
How old were you with the first one? The pink, the gelish, the pink.
I was 19.
Wow.
19 years old, did that for about 5 years. And at about 25 years old, was able to get my top fuel license, do that. But I also had this dream of being in a Monster Jam truck. I have always just had my goals set on so many things, and I still have so many goals I want to accomplish. Yeah. But being in a Monster Jam truck was just one of those that I was like, how do I do that? How do I get in that? And so I actually reached out to another female driver, and I've always been a girl's girl, always been about girl power. And so that's where it started. And she was like, dude, you're a badass already. But this is how I started. This is how you could get into it. Gave me the right contacts. But it was just like any other job. I had to send in a resume. There's a whole interview process that they do where you go out and you do mock style interviews, whether you just won a competition or you're, say, with a news station. Oh, wow. Then if you pass that, then you get to move on to the driver's audition, where it's, very basic, but for me, getting to do a 3-foot jump was like the craziest, coolest thing in a Monster Jam truck. Yeah. And that's really all you had to go out there and do. Just do a little 1-2 hole shot, do a little jump, and they just wanted to see how comfortable you were in the truck and, how you responded. And then after that, if you made that cut, you get to go to their Monster Jam University, which is a few weeks of hands-on training with their very best Tom Mentz, he is the GOAT of the sport. Yeah. He is. So you get to learn with him. And then after that, you're hoping you got a job. You don't even know or not. And so I went through that whole process, which really was such a cool experience. And I had looked at it, whether I got a job or not. I was in a Monster Jam truck, and I was learning from Tom Mentz, one of the best. But that all happened, and that was the end of 2022. And pretty much 3 months of not hearing anything after Monster Jam University, I got the call, and a week later, it all started. And I was in the truck, I was in Megalodon, and it's been crazy ever since. Oh my God.
Megalodon.
Megalodon!
That just gave me the chills.
That's where it's like the patience, having that patience, it pays off. And
but having the balls and having the drive, like literally.
You have to have both.
No point intended. But
What, the balls?
No, the drive.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
No, it shows that you actually don't need them. You just need that. But no, hey, we got our own, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yes,
we do.
I once saw this a comedian, and he went on about how actually, like, not tough balls are, just to so you
I've
guys
seen this.
know.
Yes, totally
you can
agree.
Flick one, and the guy's on the ground.
But
so.
yet we use that expression.
Yeah, we use
I don't
that
know why.
and the bigger they are, actually the more sensitive I would say.
Yeah.
So we're gonna leave it at that, and I don't think that having balls is like a good thing.
If you're the one that went with the balls, I said the drive.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm sorry.
So we weren't even on now. I would say the drive.
Sometimes I get stuck on something, and then I didn't hear the rest of what you said.
Clearly.
If Shane's fucking
I feel like
agreeing,
I'm at family dinner right now. This is great.
If Shane's agreeing,
he's really well spoken.
Oh, very much.
So I can
and exciting too. Like I was like getting so excited hearing all of that.
So I could see her doing really well at the beginning and getting past the interviews and that. You shined at the interviews for sure.
And very, very inviting.
Yeah.
Very inviting.
Smiling and great
loving.
teeth.
Yes.
Nice. You know what I mean?
Guys, Thank
Yeah.
you.
See, that's where I
But-
would have been really, really nervous. I would have been more nervous, like doing the open mic. How would it be if you just won a championship?
Oh, it was
I just
terrifying,
want to
though.
thank
It
all my
was.
sponsors,
Yeah.
thank the Hopeaholics podcast, my team.
Yeah.
Because in the moment, that stuff's natural, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, truly, yeah, when you win and your
And you're
adrenaline's
excited
pumping, you're
and-
excited, that's natural. It all
Yeah.
just comes out. But when
Yeah.
you had to go in the room and kind of just like pretend, and they have, all their higher ups, about 10 people just sitting there in a bright white room watching you. Oh, it was awful.
Yeah. That's like terrifying.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I want to tell you something. Did you say Pomona Raceway where you used to?
Yeah.
Okay, so when I was a kid, I was probably like 12, maybe younger. I went. My uncle Charlie was very, very into drag racing and just any kind of car racing, NASCAR. But we went, and the first drag race I ever saw was one of the first female drivers ever. Her name was Shirley Mo Downey.
Miss Cha Cha.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she was racing that day in Pomona, and I was like, Uncle Charlie, there's a girl in a pink car.
What Uncle Charlie say?
I don't remember.
Oh, come on, man.
I don't remember.
Back in the day,
But how
Yeah,
cool was
right.
that? And I thought it was so cool that a girl was driving
Yeah.
against these men, and she had a pink car.
Oh, she had it tough back then.
Yeah.
She was the one and only. And so it just was a different time. She had to be ferocious. And where I feel like nowadays, for me, like, and a lot of people get confused with me because they're like, oh, you're so bubbly, you're so nice. Like, how are you behind, like, the visor, right?
Sure.
Like, how are you a competitor? And it's, for me, once the helmet's on,
Yeah.
I'm a different person,
Yeah.
and that's where I'm able to get in the zone. But for her back then, she had to be that person all the time
Yeah.
because they did not want females to come into the motorsport industry. And
sure.
even today, as much as it's growing and it's so exciting to see across the board in all kinds of motorsports how many females are involved now,
Yeah.
there still is a negative pushback. And it's, it's times are changing, but it's still there. I mean, even for me, I'll never forget this. Years back, I was in a meeting with a very big corporate company trying to get sponsorship for drag racing. And they were worried about sponsoring me because they didn't want me to get hurt. When would a company say that to a male?
Yeah.
When, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's just
Interesting.
weird. There's, whether that is an excuse or what, there is just still a wall for people to have women in these arenas.
Yeah.
And it's, something that I'm just so grateful that I've pushed through and that I am here today and I am showing others it's still possible. Ignore the no's,
Yeah.
just keep going. But yeah, it's very much still a fight to be out here.
Yeah, for sure. I can only imagine. It's one of those, like, my heart's beating like crazy to be going, and that's
Well, I literally feel like the drag racing is like one of the most insane things ever. Like, it's like
Wait, we need to
a-
pull up
a rocket.
we need to pull up a drag race.
Yeah.
You can pull
Go
up
to
her
her
on
Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah,
There's
NHRA,
Yeah.
NHRA
It's-
Top Fuel. Yep.
it's actually cool to just watch hers. I saw one where she got a little sideways. Woo woo woo.
Oh yeah.
Have you
skating.
crashed?
I have not crashed drag racing and Monster Jam and Monster Trucks. It is another day, another walk in the park if you roll over. Tip
Yeah, if you're
over.
on your
Yeah.
Very, very normal. But yeah, when it came to drag racing, I had a few scares, definitely, but was always able to catch it. Actually at my debut Top Fuel event where all eyes were on me, I actually chose our biggest event in the year to debut because there was more TV time and
Yep.
my sponsorships were coming in. And I was
Smart.
like, no, we're going to do this. We're going to blow it up. My very first pass out there, about halfway down the track, my rear tire blows. And so we're about 200 miles per hour at least. And so in that situation, I was able to react, catch it, stop it. And I was skidding all over the place, but it very well could have gone sideways, gone into the wall if I wasn't as quick as I was to react.
Oh,
so
damn.
that was a very pucker the butt moment
Yeah,
that I went through.
yeah.
So that was a close one. And then I've actually had an engine completely combust and blow up behind me as well, and watched flames engulf me as I'm going down the track.
Oh shit.
That was pretty scary. So yeah, I've
Scroll way down.
seen some
Dude.
crazy stuff. Yeah, I know. So
Way
we got
down.
monster truck stuff. There's the Top Fuel stuff. Any of those ones. Let's see. You could where that guy's walking or right above it. Those should both be. Let's see.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I was out racing in Australia for a while. Great family I
Look
was
at that.
racing with.
Dude.
Yeah, so that
You
was
just smoked that
probably
person.
like a 315 mile per hour run, I'd say,
And
in just in a few seconds,
how
in 1,000 feet.
okay.
1,000 feet,
1,000
and then
feet.
you have a parachute that comes out.
Parachute, yep, you are in charge. We pack our own chutes because kind of like
Yeah.
skydiving,
Yeah.
that's on you, right? If it doesn't come out, that's on you. So
Dude.
What
very
happens
important.
if it doesn't come out?
we do have very long shutoffs for the most part, and they have sand traps at the end with nets that, you know, will catch the cars if that brakes go out, which again, yeah, I have, knock on wood, always been clear, but at the same time, when you're in these motorsports, you have to be aware of it, though.
Yeah.
You have to know what all the extremes are, and that's something that every time I got in that dragster, even when I get in the monster truck, I'm aware that what I'm doing is not the safest thing in the
Yeah.
world. It's not. Yeah, you could very much get myself in a very scary situation,
Mhm.
but also at the same time, that's why we're here, right? We
Yeah.
gotta live, we gotta push, and you gotta trust yourself. And so that's where, even though I am very much a crazy driver,
Yeah.
I am a cautious driver.
Yeah.
Whenever something doesn't feel right, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'd rather race another day.
Yeah.
I'd rather
Smart.
get in the car again.
Yeah.
And so there's been like a lot of times where I've gone out and there are people who've even said like, oh, she just like let it go. She gave up on it. And it's like, no, I want to race another day.
Yeah. Smart.
Yeah.
How do you practice for something like that,
Yeah.
especially when it's you said 1,000 yards
1,000 feet.
Feet.
or 1,000 feet?
Yeah. So
Wait, how much?
That's like
feet?
it's like a. It's a little bit more than a football field.
yeah, it's
Damn. That's
Going 300 miles an hour from the beginning of a football field to the end of a football
yeah,
field.
truly in a tunnel vision state. It is.
Yeah.
Your body does adapt to it over time. It's crazy from like my very first
Sure.
time in the car to, you know, my last time, you know, I was like, I didn't even know what was going on the first time. I was like,
Yeah.
I just held on straight. By the end, you're like, oh, at 200 feet, this happened. And at, you know, 800 feet, this
Yeah.
happened. It's so
Wow.
crazy. Your body's able to pick up where you're at. But sorry, going back, where were I? Like
how do you practice?
Yes, no, I'm so happy you're touching on this because it goes into really all motorsports for me that I've experienced. So when it comes to practice, it costs money because that's fuel, that's parts most likely. And you're, you know, especially if you're pushing the vehicle. So I have always had to visualize my practice. And so from a really a young age, I didn't even realize what I was doing back then as much as I do it more now. It's always been like a visualization manifestation. It's been meditation.
Wow.
It's been, you have to, for me at least, before I go to sleep, I even like used to write it down on a piece of paper, like my whole routine of like what I'm going to do and what I'm going to expect. And then, you know,
love
you hit
that.
the chutes at this part, and so just read it over and over again and go over in my head over and over again because that's all I had.
Wow.
And that's all I do have. But at the same time, as I've grown, I've learned how powerful it is, how powerful our minds are, and our imagination really can build that reality for you. And so I've been doing it longer than
Yeah.
I realized. But yeah, that's where all my practice is, right up top.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. I like
Yeah.
that a lot.
I love that.
I know, me too. I love that too. Like, and then when she said visualizing, then she's like, "This is when I hit my chutes." But so is that on the steering wheel?
It is.
Like
yeah.
a button?
Yep.
I don't think can you move?
Yeah, can't you? There's
Yeah, I
no
know.
way you can move your
But
arms
you know
off that
what? No,
steering
so
wheel.
when I was
You can't no.
But you
cigarette
actually-
lighter.
You can, because manually the chute lever is to your side, and so there a lot of them are set up to have it on the steering wheel to be easier. But the dragster I was in before that, which I was still going like 275 miles per hour, was manual. So I would have to take my hand off the steering wheel to hit the chutes going 270 miles per hour,
Hell,
one-handed.
perfect. No way.
Like, let me
Yeah.
ask
I
you a
wouldn't make
question.
it. I would not be pulling my chute.
Like, we we've talked about like racing dirt. Oh, Shane used to race dirt stuff.
Yeah.
What did you race?
5100 and 10 car.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
See, that's a goal for me. I've always wanted to get into that world of off-road, but I've been a fan of it, but just haven't yet.
It's fun.
So
Yeah, you'll
it
do
looks so
incredible.
fun.
So we're actually like talking about it. Where I'm like talking about buying a Can-Am and
Do it.
and we're gonna do a race.
Yeah, they are. I'm gonna come drop the flag.
He's gonna race with us too.
I'll race.
He just won't. He won't ride co-pilot.
I'm like,
with
can
me.
I just come be a cheerleader? Because
Of course.
Yeah.
So,
Right
but
up
here's
my
the
alley.
thing.
We
We
need
were
to-
asked
we
to
need
to,
to-
to do this. Now, if she said, "Hey, you want to come drive a dragster?" Would you be like, "Hell no"?
No, I would.
I wouldn't even go co-pilot. I couldn't sit there.
I wouldn't. I
can't. You
Like
can't
I
do
wouldn't
co-pilot.
drive. That's. I wouldn't do the dragster.
No.
That thing is fucking fast.
That's
It's
fast.
insane,
Yeah.
and
It is.
shit happens on those things.
Megalodon's pretty crazy too, though.
I feel like that. I would go
They're
co-pilot.
two different beasts. They really are.
Is there-
Yeah.
Do you only have one seat in the Megalodon?
There is.
So if
one
there was
seat.
2 seats in the Megalodon, I would go co-pilot. For sure.
Yeah, I could.
I have no problem going co-pilot in one of those
Which
bad
is
boys.
funny because I totally hear what you're saying, but like you would get more beat up in Megalodon
would.
all day
Yeah,
than
yeah,
you
yeah,
would
yeah.
in the
It's-
dragster.
That's what I mean.
It scares me way less.
Yeah.
It scares me
See,
way
not
less.
me. I'm the opposite.
Yeah.
Drag, yes, because I'm going forward and I make sure pull your chute.
Yeah.
Pull your chute.
Yeah.
I would forget to pull my chute. Something I don't know. Just there's a lot.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the big boy, that thing, I'm definitely running into a wall and tipping over.
I've
Like-
seen her land on the top before.
Yeah, and hey, it's so crazy though. Like, kind of going back to that, yeah, we really are like so strapped in these monster trucks, and that's something we're in charge of ourselves. Like, same thing with the chutes. See, we have ratchet straps on the side of our waist belts to clinch ourselves as tight as possible. And so, especially once you start doing crazier stuff like backflips and things like that,
Oh my God.
you need to be as tight as possible. And even when you go out and hit the floor and you already do like a couple big jumps, it's crazy how much the belts will already loosen up. So if you ever see us slow down for a second out there, we're probably just tightening our belts again.
Oh my
because
gosh.
yeah, no, the hits these trucks are taking, I mean, they're 12,000 pounds flying in the air, and yeah, we are pushing them to the absolute brink. It's it's wild.
So, do you guys do it? Like, is there a? How does the dates work? Like, how does your shows? How does it?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's intense. So there's different kinds. I'm on an arena tour right
Okay.
now. So there's arena and stadium tours.
Okay.
Arena are the smaller floors, usually, where hockey teams are playing and stuff.
Okay.
And then there's the bigger stadium floors where they go to football stadiums, baseball stadiums like that.
Yeah.
Being a newer driver, you start off,
Yep.
kind of build your way up like anything else. So
Yeah.
I'm in the arenas, and it's a busy weekend. So Thursdays are travel days. Get out to where we need to go. Friday morning, early morning media, meet up with the news stations, either go in studio or have them come out to the track. Early mornings, usually 5, 6 a.m.,
Yeah.
and then get our practice in, which, we go out, make sure the trucks are running smoothly. And at that practice, all we're doing is race passes, though. So not getting to push the trucks too much. And then get a little bit of break for lunch. And then we have our first event, usually that Friday. And then we have on Saturdays, usually a pit party, which is really cool. The kids get to come out.
Yeah.
Families, everybody comes out on the floor, is with the trucks and the drivers,
Oh
getting
my
autographs,
gosh.
pictures, all that. So you have one of those, then 2 shows, usually on Saturdays. And then on Sunday, again, another pit party in
Oh,
either
wow.
1 or 2 shows. So it's all
wow.
day. We're busy all day. And like these trucks, especially when we do our 4 or 5 show weekends, we are pushing these parts. We are,
Yeah.
I mean, we really build them up to break them.
Yeah.
And so kudos goes to our technicians and all the guys who really are a part of it and do that, because there's so much more that goes on behind the scenes than people realize.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, and even though we're in these like tight spaces, these arenas, like these trucks are still flying through them.
Yeah.
Like I like to say it's like a bull in a china shop, because we're like being so cautious and careful of our surroundings. Oh, but we're gonna pop off still.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and you do like backflips and stuff
Yeah.
in them.
Yep.
Like that's.
Have you been?
Yeah.
It's a really quite
I've
amazing.
been to Monster Jam.
Yeah, it's really, it's a
I know
pretty
my,
I feel
my
like I
brother
went-
goes a ton with.
I feel
his
like I
my
went
nephews.
to
I went a few years ago. I've been to
Anaheim?
one. Yeah, I went to Anaheim one.
the stadium
Yeah,
or
stadium.
the Ducks.
No, I was
This
inside.
Probably, Angel Stadium.
and
Oh,
the
wait
Angel
a second.
Stadium?
It was at Angel Stadium. I was in the yes. I was in Dodgers. Yes. Yeah.
Angels or Dodgers?
I don't know.
Are you guys doing it? Is it like once a month or is it like every weekend?
So right now, I'm actually getting towards the end of our season.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It's flown by, but we're coming up. I'm like, hello, friends. In May 18th weekend is our World Finals. It's, our Super Bowl, really. And it's at SoFi Stadium.
Oh.
And I'm
Wow.
so excited. They haven't confirmed who's in competition yet. Keeping my fingers crossed. I'm still, a bit of a rookie, but I'm really hoping I get a shot to compete at it. If not, I get to be there regardless and be on display with Megalodon, because there are, which a lot of people don't realize, there are a ton of Monster Jam drivers. So on any given weekend, so like our tour started, or our season started in January and has gone through pretty much to the end of April. There are 5 different tours going on. So there's 2 stadium tours in East and West, and then 3 arenas, West, East, Central. I'm Arena West. And so each tour is competing for their own championship title. And, depending on your performance and how things go, you're competing also to get invited to the big World Finals, the big event at the end of the year.
Oh my
so
gosh! What?
we're leading up to some exciting stuff right now.
How do you?
So
get
so
there?
this isn't like the WWE, right? It's not scripted. You really you're really competing.
The amount we get this though, like we are compared to WWE daily as far as
I
like
mean,
the
literally.
scripted unscripted thing. It's very much a real conversation. But no, when it comes down to, you can't script monster trucks.
Yeah.
Like you
Like
literally,
how?
there are machines that are gonna perform or they're gonna break.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
there's no in between there. But there are some things as far as like part maintenance goes that sometimes trucks will maybe dial back or not push, or maybe push a little bit more when we know we have parts available or don't. And that's just a logistics
Oh, okay.
thing. So
That makes
there's that side of it. There is, but yeah.
How
And,
do you-
and Gravedigger just always wins because it's Gravedigger. That's where a lot of people are like, oh, it's scripted. Gravedigger always wins. It's like, no, everyone just loves Gravedigger.
how would you know if you are able to compete, say at SoFi, because of like, are there points that are going on
So
through?
there are points, but they actually don't even go based off of it at the very end to who gets to go to World Finals.
Uh-huh.
So that's what makes it, I don't know, it's exciting, but like at the same time I'm anxious
Yeah, how do
nervous
they
about
pick?
it, because we like to joke that there's a giant like poster board with all our pictures and they're
And they
throwing
just
darts.
throw darts?
Yeah. Because no,
wonder if
they're
Let's see who's going today.
yeah.
It's
So
fan-based.
hopefully
I
we'll get
will-
lucky. Yeah.
It's
I wa-
fan-based.
Or politics?
Or that too.
well,
But the politics goes with
I
money.
think you're
Money
right.
Yeah.
That falls to fans.
Yeah,
And that's it.
You know?
yeah. There's like a lot of moving
What's-
parts, like
Yeah.
Right?
the
What's
politics of,
wanted,
like,
what's
who's-
needed
yeah,
at
yeah,
the
yeah,
time,
yeah, yeah.
what's
yeah. Wow, that's actually
Did your car exist before you?
Yeah, Megalodon's been around for, gosh, I should know this, but for years, over 5 years for sure, probably getting closer to 10 years. And so Megalodon had the fan base, and I got to just come in and kind
yeah,
of
it's dope.
embody it, right? But for me, it's so meant to be. I've always been a beach girl, grew up in Southern California, and like blue's my favorite color. I love Shark
You're
Week.
driving
Like,
the Meg.
I'm in the Meg.
That's
And
fucking
so,
sick.
It's
It
so
It's a shark.
sick.
Have
Yeah,
you
have
seen
you seen
it?
the
The
movie?
prehistoric beach.
Yeah.
Well, no, I haven't seen the movie.
Oh, yeah, it's good.
What's this?
actually.
What's it called?
The
Meg.
Meg.
Yeah, has badass.
Oh, yeah, Jason Statham.
Yep.
It's actually
Jason
really good.
Statham's in that.
Yes.
I better watch.
It's
that.
really good.
I know. I've
For
been in-
like it, and I'm like scared of sharks, so it was really good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, and
I'm
the
scared of
kids go crazy for it. Adults,
Yeah.
grandparents, and like also being a female in the truck.
Yeah.
I love that. I feel like people connect with that too. And the tour I'm on, I actually am the only female
Wow, good
on
for you.
tour
Oh,
too.
Wow.
So yeah, so holding
That's
down for
awesome.
the ladies,
Killing
and
it.
I know. And
I love that.
Thank
That's
you.
amazing.
Yeah, no, it's crazy because like kind of going back to how I grew up though, like my dad never made me feel different being a female, like in having these dreams and wanting to pursue this life. He always encouraged me and just, you know, didn't make me feel any different. But as I got more involved, that's when I realized I'm like, oh, I am different though. And it's crazy because I always got into motorsports because of my passion to drive, but I quickly realized the platform it came with too.
Sure.
And that's something that's so important to me because I am not just a girl's girl. I am a people person. I love everyone. I want to see the best for everyone. I want to encourage everyone to be them best selves. So getting to be in this position, it's so unique. And especially like with the little ones and going back to like going to these pit parties where I get to go, you know, on the floor with these kids and kneel down with them. And I remember being that little kid that went up to the drivers and asking for the autograph. And you see them and they're like these larger than life figures, right? And now being in the position I'm in, I'm like, I'm just a normal person, right? I just wanted to drive a monster truck. And so getting to have this, you know, ability to, you know, make a difference, it's been like the most rewarding thing after everything, really.
No, it's huge. It's a huge testament too to your parents basically just giving you the confidence to go for it. Yeah. Because that's really what it ultimately comes down to. Obviously a ton of work ethic. And I've learned too, because I'm not very versed in like motorsports, even though I'm a fan of it and I love it. I love watching it. But I'm learning more and more that is one sport that requires a ton of money.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's so
I had
no
idea.
Yeah, no, which everyone kind of looks like, oh, you're a race car driver, you're rich.
Yeah, no.
Nope. It's
okay. They say that too about wrestlers as well. I'm like, no, boo.
No.
You have no idea what we made back then.
Right. We're just passionate about what we do. And that's what makes it worth it. But at the same time, like, it's such a weird thing because I know we actually had this conversation recently with someone and it's like it's something that needs to change though because it is. Sure. And it's like, you know, there's a lot of work and love that gets put into it and it doesn't have that recognition
for sure, especially
for pay.
Which makes no sense to me because like even from like NASCAR, even, you know, those guys, because obviously there's different tiers in that kind of racing. Then you have your off-roading. Then you have like your category as well, where all of them, you, especially when you're watching them and you think like these guys are on television, they're getting interviewed, they're traveling to perform in front of other people, so immediately your head goes, oh, okay, they're making a really good living. No, it's not the case at all.
No,
a lot of them are like scraping by and having to basically go and try to get money to continue to perform by getting sponsorships, which is wild.
Because they love it. But that's the love for the sport that they're in.
That's what needs to change, because then it's like you have some of these big networks that promote it like how I could actually say it like kind of like a WWE, right? Yeah. You have your 1% that obviously are killing it, making a very, very nice living.
Who's part of that 1%?
Like a Randy Orton, Roman Reigns.
Are they still
Seth Rollins,
are they still
Becky
doing
Lynch.
it?
Yeah, they're all currently on the roster.
Currently on the roster.
Charlotte Flair. But then you have the ones that are not, say, at that tier, right? The ones, whether it's like the independent circuit or even in developmental, but you're on television and they're getting promoted by whatever announcers that are talking about them as if they're like, you know,
these big superstars, right? Yeah,
professional like athletes and stuff like that. Well, that doesn't make sense with the pay. Yeah, you know, so it's like
they're not treated like one.
No,
like the NBA, and
MLB,
the NBA. Just so you
NFL.
know, that in the NBA, if you never play a game and you're on the roster and you're sitting, you're the 12th, 15th guy on the roster, you're still getting paid. I think it's $850,000 a year.
Wow, that's
the minimum league. It's $750 or $850. Yeah.
Damn, that's a nice league minimum.
Just pull up league minimum.
Wow.
That is impressive.
That is impressive.
And they all they do is they practice with the superstars.
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. That is a nice Like that would be very nice if it was across the board.
Yeah.
Because that's a
And then
nice track.
and then the WNBA players, I think that
Oh, that's
superstars only make like 150K or something like that.
Yeah,
and
but
most of them make like 40,000.
that's
year.
also really different too, in the sense of because it comes down to like
many people-
advertising and the problem with that, and like even the NBA subsidize is and pays the WNBA, so that one is a little like messy.
Yeah.
because
It is messy.
It doesn't, yeah, it doesn't. That one is hard.
Yeah. But just to the, awareness, right? Of
Sure.
like putting it out there that people don't know these things.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Because
And
you're walking millionaire.
Yeah.
It's like not even close, buddy.
Yeah. No.
I'm like scraping by. You're trying
Exactly.
to get the sponsorship to
yeah.
either help pay you.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, are you
Wow.
serious? Holy crap.
Wait, is a
You
1.1 that's a
2023-24 season.
minimum?
League minimum
Wow.
$1.1 million.
So, like, to me, this is where it's like the money's out there, right? It's out there. It's possible. And
Yeah.
it's possible for people to be compensated the way they deserve,
Yeah.
clearly.
Yeah.
So, hey,
Wow.
that's hope right there.
That's actually
Hope
wow.
for- it's
That's
crazy.
That's actually really, really crazy. I'm actually shocked on that. I'm like a speed.
I was not expecting that. But I thought that, it goes up every year for these guys. They have a really strong union, and they
Yeah.
they
do.
force the money, and there's a lot of money in the NBA, but there's a lot of money in Monster Jam. There's a lot of money in NASCAR.
Yeah.
There's probably a shit ton of money in drag racing.
It's crazy because there is and there isn't, right? And that's where I feel like it's
Weird.
growing and it's changing. It's very much changing right now because we're going from, like, at least I know very well with drag racing, like, it was a certain demographic for
sure.
so long, and
For
it
sure.
was 50 to 80-year-old men going out there and watching. And that crowd is getting older, and so they're having to shift that. And I think a great example of who's doing it right is F1, actually,
Yeah.
with their
F1's
Drive
Oh,
to
yeah.
Survive, that
Dude.
reality show. Like, they're getting the younger crowd engaged and into it because it is exciting and it
Oh
is
my God.
fun. But I think so many, especially younger people, just are like, oh, that's for old guys. Like, they don't really
they don't know.
give it a chance. They don't know. So it's evolving, it's changing. It's like we're literally, I feel like, in the midst of it. So I'm excited to see that change.
Yeah.
It's needed, and I'm hoping, stuff like that could be in the future for race car drivers.
Well, I
because
also
they
think
deserve it.
I also think too, you hit the nail on the head in the sense of like, okay, so F1 is, did a really good job because obviously the Netflix series,
Mhm.
it made me a fan. I watched that thing and I
Yeah.
was like, holy,
Yeah.
because what happens is you start to invest in the individuals, the actual
Yes.
drivers.
Yeah.
So like in your case, where hopefully after people hear you, they go to your Instagram, and so then they get to fall in love with you and then follow you, and then now they become attached to you, and then it's following you on your circuit, which that's what I think WWE did a really good job too, because their demographic was very much that kind of same
Yep.
same crowd, where then they opened the door for Total Divas, which is a whole nother demographic because that was
It
just all
was.
women.
Yeah.
'Cause it's
It was, yeah.
Oh gosh, I remember watching it. Yeah.
yeah, and so it's like people that had this conception about wrestling or whatever, then all of a sudden you have these women that are wanting to tune into the Kardashians, but then they basically get stuck watching Total Divas first. I think we had the lead in or whichever order.
Yeah, no,
But-
you're right. Because I watched it with my mom and
Yeah.
sister, and they're the biggest Kardashian girls.
Okay, so there you go.
Yep.
So then the demographic is like, the 18 to I think 35 or something women, and now all of a sudden they're like coming to Monday Night Raw or Friday
Yeah.
Night SmackDown because now they're interested because
You
they
just
didn't
have to
know.
open up. To,
Yeah.
Well, they
you
did a good
open up
job.
the
I mean,
audience.
honestly,
Yep.
they did a good job with that because prior to that, and I was a WWF guy. I like
Oh yeah.
back in the
Back in the
day when it
Vince
was
McMahon.
Hulk Hogan,
Hogan.
Yeah.
Andre the
Yeah,
Giant.
bro.
Oh man.
Back in the day.
Crusher.
Yeah, back in the day,
Yeah.
Randy, Roddy Piper.
Piper.
He was like,
Greg and Vern Gagne.
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And then they tried. I know they tried to do a push like in the 90s.
Attitude Era and
It,
stuff.
it, it was they added like they tried to do this like lingerie one, and it really didn't work because it was like only the pervs were watching it,
Right,
you know.
right.
Whereas now when they brought out the Total Divas, it was like these were some badass athletes that were doing the same shit that men were doing.
Yes.
And I thought that was really dope.
Yeah.
I still think it's dope.
It is.
Thank you.
I follow one of the wrestlers on Instagram. Do you?
I watch lingerie football every now and then.
Football?
Yeah, football.
Now leave him.
You never seen the football?
Actually, I follow Nikki Garcia as well,
yeah.
but that was just only
Bella.
because of she posted us the other day.
Yeah.
Not
Bella
us.
twins.
Us. She was actually posting Natalie, but she posted our logo. So
It
I
is so
thought
true.
that was so badass.
That's nice.
You
And,
like what you guys were able to accomplish though, like kind of going back to like other females watching. It wasn't just like females watching another, catty woman
Sure.
reality
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
No, you guys were badass, capable women doing things that men were doing on a physical level.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you were showing the world like, no,
Yeah.
we're capable of so much more. And yeah, it was so great. And I love that it opened that up. And I mean,
Right.
it inspired so many too.
And that's exactly what you're doing, and that's why it is cool to have live in a social media era, because you're able to utilize your platform and show exactly like what you're doing, because you have the kids that are in different states that are on social media and then will come across your page and be like, wait, what? She's doing what?
Right.
Where it's really just trying to grab those different demographics instead of just having your hardcore knit base, that
right?
is
The
like
ones
kinda
who are
used to.
fans of the sport or fans of the entity you're in.
Right,
Yeah.
it's bringing in that new fan base that didn't know.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether or not they are into it and want to get into it, or
Right.
just to become a fan of it. Because it is really, really cool, and
It
to have
is.
like a chick riding out there, the Meg, that's bananas.
Yeah,
too.
no, and it's great.
Yeah, it
it's
is,
cool
right?
too because, touching on that and like social media, like I'm not just like I feel like for some people the typical monster truck driver,
Sure.
right? Like there's so much more to me. Like I am the biggest dog lover. I'm super spiritual. Like
Yeah.
I'm a goofball. I really am. Like there's so many layers. Like I love pop culture. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
love fashion. Like there's so many more like different aspects of who Ashley is outside of being a monster truck driver. And so it's great to get to relate with people who maybe they're like, I would never get in a monster truck, but I love that shirt. Where'd you get that shirt?
Yeah.
And whether I'm inspiring them to pursue whatever they're chasing as far as it's motorsports or not, like at least you're still inspiring, right? And connecting.
Yes, which is huge.
I am so grateful for that. I believe in connection.
Yeah,
I mean, in all aspects of life.
for sure.
The good and the bad, we always need that connection.
I agree.
I'm trying to figure out how we got connected because did I reach out to you?
You did on the
Hopeaholics
podcast.
podcast.
You did, yeah.
And you somehow popped up in my in our feed, and I was like, oh, this is freaking badass. And then I started going through it more, your page.
Yeah.
And then
We
your shirt.
we connect a lot here.
That's how
We
we
do.
that's how we connected.
Yeah.
And I was like, we got to get her on the podcast.
I'm gonna show her off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is Marissa Michelle Manji, my cousin. She passed away March 29th of last year. We lost her to the crisis that is happening, the fentanyl crisis. It was a poisoning. And I'm trying to find all the sensitive words. This is the first time I'm speaking on my family's behalf as deeply as I am. But she was the brightest light. She was a superstar herself. She really was. And she had so much life she wanted to live. She was not intending for what happened to happen to her. We still don't even know exactly all the details of what happened, but we do know she was given something from a trusted friend that she and her friend both took, and both unfortunately lost their lives. And she is just one of way too many.
Yeah.
And she is someone, for me personally, was a huge influence in my life. She was an attachment of me. She is 9 months older than me. My mom and my aunt are sisters, best friends. They're practically twins attached at the hips. So we grew up 5 minutes from each other. We danced together. She raced with me even. She came out to all my races, was my biggest cheerleader, my biggest supporter. She was a hairstylist makeup artist. And she was in Hollywood. She was just like the life of the party. She was the light of the party. She was love. She didn't hold judgments. She forgave. She was just an angel. She really was. And I learned so much from her. And so having to lose someone like that, and actually it was during one of my biggest years in my career. It was in the heat of my Monster Jam season when this happened, and I had to step away from that. And so really the extreme highs and lows is what I was experiencing losing her. But why I'm here and why I'm glad to be here is because back to having a platform, right? Like Marissa, she had a little platform actually on Instagram, but she was someone that advocated for the well-being of everyone. And so getting to be here today with you guys and to advocate for Marissa and to advocate for all those lives that we have lost. And I mean, all the people that are still here today, just the awareness of what is going on in the world right now, that even from a trusted friend, you can't trust anything out there right now. This crisis is trying to wipe people out. It is. And it's just, having to be awake to that. And she was awake to it. She even advocated. We knew someone, a close friend who had lost someone to fentanyl about 6 months prior. And I remember we were talking about it, and she was like, I'm terrified for all my friends now. She was, looking out. She didn't even, she was looking out for herself. But even then, it just can slip by, and just one moment of, trust that we're all allowed to have that trust. Yeah. We are. And so it's, what's happened has happened, but it just, I think, wakes us all up to being like, even the people we trust and the things we thought we had trusted before, it's a different world we're living in.
It's a completely different world. And, that's the thing that we talk about a lot on the podcast. And we actually had the Orange County Sheriff on the podcast. And, today, if you're not actually picking it up from the pharmacy in America,
no bueno.
From a prescription, we just have to spread the word that it's probably not what you think it is.
Yeah.
And it's not that these pills are laced. They are actually just pressed fentanyl made to look like any other pill. It'll look like Xanax, Adderall, Percocet. My son-in-law bought a Percocet from whoever he bought it from. I'm not sure who he bought it from. They actually have an investigation going on into where the pill came from. So we don't know for sure yet. But we still don't have his cell phone, and it's been about 18 months now.
Wow.
And he bought what he thought was a Percocet, and it was fentanyl, and the one pill took his life.
Yeah.
And that's what's scary, and that's what people, I'm like, I'm sorry for you and your family's loss, because one is too many, especially with what's going on now. And like Chad's story, where you have something where you think that you're buying something completely different, right?
Or given. Yeah.
And it looks exactly like an Adderall or a Xanax or a Percocet or whatever it is. And it's totally not. And like Chad was saying, we had the OC sheriff, and he was saying that these pills that are getting pressed look better than the
real ones.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just, it angers me. But I mean, this is the awareness we need, right? Yeah. This is great that you had him on here to express this and explain it to people. That, because I mean, it's one of those things where you're like, oh, it's not going to happen to me,
right?
It won't be me.
That's what people
Yeah.
think, and
Or they think
you
that
know,
it's just the addict or the alcoholic.
Yeah, well,
Exactly.
that's the other thing that I really wanted to touch on, because the majority of people that are dying from fentanyl, I call it poisoning, because I don't believe that there is any safe dose of illicit fentanyl. So anytime you take illicit fentanyl, knowing or unknowingly take it, it's poisoning.
Yeah.
It is a poison, because
Yep.
there's no safe dose. It is
Nope.
not an overdose.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
For it to be an overdose, there has to be a safe dose. Now, if you're getting fentanyl from prescribed or in a shot because you had surgery, that's not illicit fentanyl.
No.
Illicit fentanyl is everything that's bought off the streets today. It's unfortunate that that is what it's come to, but you know, they are confiscating enough pills in a month to kill everybody in California.
Yeah,
That's
it's like
that's insanity.
It really
And the people that are dying are not the addicts and the alcoholics. It's not the addicts. And I know this to be true because we run many different substance use disorder treatment facilities. The people that are dying are my sister, my son-in-law, your cousin, Shane's, niece or nephew. It is, and nowadays everybody is one person away from somebody that has
100%.
died.
Yeah.
That's how insane it is. 300 people are dying every single day, and that is why we have become the voice and the face for the fentanyl crisis, and that is what we're all about.
Yeah.
And we're about bringing that awareness. We're about breaking the stigma
Yeah. I think
of addiction
that's
and
what
mental
needs to be
health.
broken, right? The stigma.
has to be.
Everyone just hears fentanyl and they're like, oh, they had it coming, right?
Yeah.
Why?
yeah,
Why?
yeah.
Like that needs to be
is
broken.
crazy.
That
So like
is
95 of
so
our
wrong.
I know.
percent of our comments are very loving and kind and just amazing words, and then you get like 5% that are people say stupid stuff like, well, you just shouldn't do drugs and that wouldn't happen.
It's like, yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
Karen.
thank you.
Okay, yes,
It's
yes,
like,
you're
yeah.
right. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
not everybody in the world is
and
like
we
you.
live in reality.
It's so much deeper than that.
It is.
Like as humans, we are all going through it one way or another.
Totally.
And genetically, some of us are more susceptible to getting into drugs, and whether it be an addiction or just, dabbling, and, people find ways to release that energy, right?
Yeah.
And we're only human, and it's going to happen. And I think for so long, so many years, people had that option of, oh, okay, yeah, I'll just take this to ease the pain. And now doing that is risking your whole life.
Totally. And what about, in a perfect world, yes, kids, don't do drugs, right? We
Yeah.
all know how that works.
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
And that clearly didn't work out very well.
The DARE program.
The
Yeah,
DARE
exactly.
They
program,
have great intentions.
just
Right.
say
Just say
no.
no.
Was Nancy
like-
Reagan?
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
it didn't work out well.
It didn't work out
I
well.
I actually was like, because I was in the Nancy Reagan era, just so you guys know, and she was like, I was like, what is this? Old lady know.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like,
You're like, yeah.
Now I'm
you
no old
all-
man,
If you
but,
tell me no, of course I'm going to
She was
want
like,
to go do
yeah, I
it
was
right
like,
now.
what
Yeah.
is she saying? And then especially after because I'm an addict in recovery, and when I did my first line of meth, it was called speed back in the day, but it's still methamphetamines. When I did my first line of meth, I was like, Nancy doesn't know what
yeah,
she's talking
she's
about.
lying.
Like I don't know
Keep
why
it-
they're trying to
yeah,
hide this
keep it-
stuff from
yeah.
us. Like this stuff's good. I could study. I was staying up all night. I got trim and fit.
And the thing, the first month, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing like the first month.
Nothing like the
All
first month.
Roses.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then-
Happy birthdays every
And
day.
then by the time I was like 21, I'd spent 3 years in jail.
Shit.
You know what I mean?
You're like,
Once
oh,
through
maybe
that, you're
Nancy
fucked.
didn't know
Maybe
what hands are
Maybe
about.
Nancy was saying something very true. But going off of that, it's like, yes,
You have to
okay,
learn, right?
That is,
it's humans.
Yes.
We're gonna make mistakes.
well, and
We're
not
gonna
only
go
that,
through it.
but how about the kids that are just wanting to go out and blow off some steam and pop a molly and go to a rave?
Yeah.
Like, are they bad? No. But now
not.
you can't even play the game. It's like Russian roulette, but the whole entire gun is loaded.
I know the
That's
thing
like
is
scary.
like 7 out of 10 pills are fentanyl.
Which
7
is
out of
nuts.
10. So
That is-
if you go to buy what she just
Yeah.
said, a Molly, an ecstasy pill, you're risking that
Horrifying.
3 of 10 pills
Horrifying.
might actually be a real one.
Right.
Which is horrifying.
The other ones are fentanyl pressed to look like.
You guys, that's
just
horrifying.
not even, it's not worth
Right.
it.
No.
It's not. But so many people are still out there willing to risk it. And it's just, it breaks my heart. It's like, and I think, right, I'm sure we all have this thought. It's just like, who are the people behind this, right? The ones making that. This is what keeps me up at night.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
Losing someone. I just, like for me, it's the intention, right? So it's like making these, like knowing that they're going out and doing this negative harm. It just blows my mind.
Well, what's going to happen
It
is that
freaks me out.
It's going to hit home to our government and our politicians. And once it does, then they'll start to actually want to make some noise in some type of capacity because it's hit their direct home.
Either
Right
that or
now-
I'm going to make so much noise that
I mean, we're making
that,
noise
that they hear us.
regardless.
Yeah.
We're talking. I mean, I think Natalie was just on some big podcast.
Yes, shout out to
Outkick.
Charlie. Yeah. It's and on Laura
Good.
Trump's.
I'm
And
like,
Laura,
yes.
she was on Laura Trump's
Yes.
like
It's-
a couple weeks ago.
All about where one, obviously the awareness, because if you don't know, you don't know. But then our politicians, they know the fentanyl's coming in here.
They talk
So it's
about
like,
it all the
yeah,
time.
they do.
Yeah.
So they're using it as just
And
a talking piece. It's like,
yeah.
well,
But what are we doing about it? Yeah.
You
It's
know?
they're both talking about it.
Yeah.
The Republicans are talking about it. The Democrats are talking about it, and that's all they're doing is talking
Like,
about it.
And
you know?
the action?
So
And
until
like
it-
and like right now,
So
it's
until
like
it kills one of their child or
Right.
their children,
Yeah.
it's
And then
in
that
their
fire's
home,
lit
and
in
that
their-
fire,
yep.
exactly, and then they have that,
and they
that
feel how
loss.
we feel.
Yes.
You know
Mhm.
that loss.
And
you
that's
know,
sad.
it's rough. Like so, I was like writing. We're doing we have a thing we're doing at this symposium conference coming up, and I was writing the opening to our little thing that we're doing, and that as part of my opening, I'm dedicating the session that we're doing to the memory of my son-in-law, and I was writing it while I was on the stairs at the gym today, and I was fucking crying while I was on the stairs at the gym. I mean, I don't really like look up
Yeah.
or look at anybody, and I'm sweating so bad probably nobody notices that I'm crying,
yeah.
but like.
yeah.
But it's real, man. That shit hit home. My daughter's having a rough time.
Yeah.
She's,
Yeah. No, and it's not linear, right? Grief, it's forever.
Forever.
It's so hard.
and it's
because-
going to affect every single person that person was involved with differently.
Yeah.
So it's like he said,
I mean,
his daughter's
his-
obviously still going through it,
Yeah.
because that's her love. That was her
that was
life.
her love.
So it's like that is a tragedy that
Yeah.
is very difficult to endure and to
Losing a
like
part
push.
of yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, from mothers to dads to cousins to everyone deals with grief and tragedy very, very differently.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's sad because it's something where how many people actually get broken from it?
Yeah.
A lot.
A lot of people get broken
that's
Because
from
a lot
so
of people
true.
can't push.
this.
It
This is
and
how I chose to deal with it.
Yeah,
though.
they say when it comes to grief, you go one way or the
You
other.
do.
Right?
Yeah.
And which I've always been very spiritual, but I really dove deep into my spirituality losing my cousin, and like since then have been like I journal daily.
Good.
I
Good.
practice yoga. I've just
Smart.
been very much connected with myself on a deep inner level that I had never before
Yeah.
losing her, because I had all these questions.
Yeah.
I was angry, and I mean, because I believe in God, I have that, in my heart, and I know he's been with me, but I lost sight of it.
Totally.
And in those moments of grief, I'm very blessed. I have a very loving, supportive family that we're all able to lean on each other and have that direction. But it could very well go the other way too, which
For sure.
I have in my past. It's not always been rainbows and butterflies. I've very much dealt with mental health issues, and gosh, as a teenager, God bless my parents, as supportive
I
as
say
they
the
were,
same.
they
I say the
were.
same.
I put them through it. Oh
girl,
my gosh.
Me too.
I'm scared to have children because I know my karma's coming for me.
Oh, for sure.
I was really, 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 really worried about that.
Yeah, when you had kids. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought I was gonna end up with twin. I had three girls, and my ex-wife and I we're wanting to have a boy, and I was like, God, please don't give me like twin girls, so I have like 5 girls, because I was like, that won't be funny. Like I get it, you know. But I did want to say one thing. I really wanted to, you know, let her family know, and you and her parents know, that our hearts and prayers are with them.
For sure.
And, you know, anything they ever need from the Hopeaholics, they can always reach out to us.
That's
and you as
amazing.
well.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know, we're all about love and support, and, you know, trying to help people get through and navigate whatever feelings they have. You know, shortly after we lost my son-in-law, we got a phone call from our friend's mom, that she had just got a call that her son had died from fentanyl, and she lives up in Washington, and could I run over and find out if it was true? And it was our really good friend. He was one of our first 10 people on our podcast. His name was Bobby, and he did pass away from fentanyl. He was he was one of our basketball teammates.
I'm so sorry, guys.
And you know, it's just like so those are the 2 people close to me that we've lost, and you know, I see it every day now. I've been in the drug and alcohol treatment business for 23 years. And in the last 4 years that fentanyl has been in America and a crisis in America, I have seen probably quadruple the deaths than I saw in the first 18 years that I was working in this industry, in 4 years.
Well, I mean, how about this statistic even? Just one of the girls that I sponsor, she's 28. In the last year, she's lost 8 of her friends. And some obviously in the program, and some not, from fentanyl.
All fentanyl.
All fentanyl.
That's insane.
As a matter of fact, there's nothing but fentanyl. There's no heroin doesn't exist anymore. And you know, the thing is they've packaged fentanyl as cute little pills that seemingly look safe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, growing up for me, I mean, meth is still kind of scary if you're a kid. You know, they finally made it. It wasn't as scary when I was a kid. They called it speed.
Yeah.
And it just got you up. That's all it did. But also, it wasn't the same thing.
Got you up.
Huh?
That was funny. It just got you up.
Just up. You know, just up.
Way up.
Way up,
Yeah.
way up.
Way up.
I remember the first time I got high, I was so high.
Yeah.
I didn't even know I was high.
Yeah, it's
And
fucked up.
I went in and I was like telling my parents that, you know, I wanted to be a better person.
Oh, God.
And,
Oh my
you know,
God.
and
Just
get,
load
and get closer to God.
Yeah.
And my mom was so like loving and like,
Wow.
oh, you know, we
God.
and
Little did she know.
little did she know I was
It was a meth talking.
high on
Yeah.
meth.
Yeah.
And then I ended up like
Stay on track. You were
Okay,
going about,
sorry,
yeah.
sorry.
Stay on track. You were going about,
Sorry.
but it is
That was
true.
me. My bad.
You really got
My
me.
bad.
You really
My
got me there,
bad.
Shane.
My bad.
Jesus.
Where was I?
I
We were
don't
talking
know.
about, now they're packaging it.
Oh well,
Yeah.
Oh,
so the
yeah.
meth is scary. It's different.
Yeah.
And what was the drug that was scary though, which
Heroin.
is similar, heroin,
Yes,
black
I
tar,
totally agree.
heroin.
I remember it being
You weren't like gonna
definitely
go like
afraid.
do a
hell
black tar.
no.
You either had to smoke it on some foil
It was
or
scary,
shoot it
yes.
up in your vein.
Yeah.
And
That's right. Like for me,
Yes.
like worse, like you close your eyes, you're like, oh, shooting up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's what you think.
that's
Well,
worse.
here's the thing: fentanyl is 100 times more deadly
Tiny, cute little pill, right?
in this cute little pill.
Or it could be, you could cut it up and snip it like, and then get sold as like you're buying an 8-ball.
I've seen so many different forms of fentanyl.
Yeah.
We've seen it come through here,
Scary.
and it looked like rock candy.
Fuck, that's
rock
insane.
Candy.
like, yeah.
You know that
The
good
Yeah.
like
sugar
Pop Rock.
candy
Yeah.
that you
yeah.
that
I
you
love
eat
that
Crackles on
stuff.
your
on
mouth.
the stick?
Crackles
Yes.
on your mouth.
No, not that kind. Not the Pop Rock.
Oh, I like the Pop Rock.
Yeah.
No,
I
I
haven't
like
seen it
that
look
too.
like Pop
That's-
Rock, but it
that's
looked just
insane.
like
And
rock
so
candy.
you consume it that way.
Yeah, just put
So
it in your mouth.
a kid could
eat
get
it.
to
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah,
That's yeah.
it's marketed to kids.
Yeah.
And it's 10 times more addictive than heroin.
Yeah.
It's very that has a very short half life, so you get really really high, and then you come down,
Yeah.
and then you need more, Where heroin, you can get really, 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 really high, and then it's come down as a little bit slower. So you need this more often. So that's why it's so addictive, and it's cheap.
Because I kind of sidebar here, but very much related. I actually worked as an EMT for a bit during COVID when I wasn't racing. I was like, what am I doing with? I like went through a period where I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to race again. Like, what can I do? What can I serve as a purpose? And I was very interested in the first responder field. My dad being retired fire, and I just wanted to find a way to help out. And so that was 2020. That was when fentanyl was really coming on the scene. And so I worked here in Southern California, and there were countless fentanyl pickups we did, whether it was poisonings or just people addicts who were, you know, kind of going through withdrawal. Yeah. And with the withdrawals were really bad from what I witnessed. And that's what I remember having a conversation with one of the patients, just saying it's cheaper, it's easier, but it's hard come down. It's a hard come down. And I just remember thinking, I'm like, where did this come from? Yeah. And from since then, I feel like has just taken over. And so like witness it on that level and then have to lose someone to it. Totally. That's where I'm just like, hey, I love what you guys are doing. It's so important. It's needed. This is, I mean, really like, this is monumental what you're doing because no one else is really doing it.
No.
And you know what? People need to really understand is that this fentanyl crisis, it doesn't discriminate. It's coming for, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're raised, where you're from, how old you are, what you look like. It doesn't matter. So that's why it's like really, really horrifying, especially from just like the dose to how it looks to how much is seeping in to all of the things that you think are horrendous and terrible times a million.
It's a sad day in America when the CDC puts out that the number one cause of death for people 18 to 45 is fentanyl. Not
when did that come
not
out?
Cancer. Not heart attacks.
I'm actually
not car accidents. Yeah, it's the CDC. Number one cause of death, 18 to 45.
I'm surprised
they put it out too. Very, very surprised.
I'm shocked.
I mean, to take over heart attacks, which, I mean, cardiovascular diseases was the leading cause for so long.
Fentanyl.
Wow.
It's insane. Like, come on, guys. What are you going to do about it?
Right in front of all of us.
You know, like, what are you going to do about it? Don't use it. I don't care what side of that you're on. Don't use it as a tool to talk about the other side's not doing their job. Yeah. You're both not doing your job until you've figured out how to eradicate fentanyl. Like we shut down a whole entire country for COVID.
Yeah.
You know, and I think at that point there was only like 10, 20, 30,000. There was only like maybe like 30,000 total deaths from COVID when we shut down the whole entire country.
Which
and
being an EMT, let me tell you, saw way more fentanyl.
It was 300 every day currently.
COVID calls.
300 people die every single day from fentanyl. 300. That's 120,000 people. These are old numbers too.
I'm
you know,
that's like old. You know,
2022 numbers, to be honest.
And what's crazy, right? It's like this is so day to day. Like it's probably terrifying what today, April 2nd in 2024, it's looking like. Because it's like a wildfire.
It's a wildfire.
It is.
Yeah, and here's the other part about it. You were asking, like, you know, what you wonder where it comes from. Well, the precursors are made in China. So if you were a smart superpower country who wanted to weaken a country, wouldn't you want to kill our people that are 18 to 28, 18 to 32 years old? Those are the people that fight wars for the United States of America. Yeah. And it's this drug gets shipped over to the cartels. The cartels don't care. They don't care about the body counts because they're making more than the body counts. Yeah. So they're all about money. They don't care about it.
Always have been that way. Yeah.
They've always been that way. So they're still making a shit ton of money, and they're the ones that bring it across. I mean, think about it.
Right.
It is what it is.
And it is what it is. But at the same time, it's like there is the awareness there, and we're still a powerful country.
Yeah.
We are. And that's where, instead of like the division that you were talking about, like, this is the time we need to be united on this. And if we need to be in agreement on this, and we need to get to the root of it. And I mean, if maybe getting to the root of it obviously is a lot deeper, because, you know, we're talking cartel, and that's way above
People
what I could understand.
Those guys can pick up the phone though and be like, hey,
no,
there's
stop
things that can be done.
Of
There
course.
is, and there's awareness
They
that
just
could be pushed even
completely.
more on their end. Yeah.
You think that our government and our CIA and all them, they don't deal with our cartels? They totally do. So it's like, make some moves, fellas.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
pause and make some operations.
Until, like
so it's
you said, until it happens
until
to one of theirs.
and that's really where, like, I mean,
die.
obviously we're on a mission and we're not going to stop.
Yeah.
And we're still going to be getting louder and louder and louder. But for it to actually something to be really like earth shattering is when it hits their home. And that home, I mean, one of our politicians that's up there in Washington. So it's like, unfortunately, that's the case that we're in. But until then, because it's not a matter of
It's when.
if, it's when.
Yeah.
Because that's what will happen. But
I mean, I won't be surprised if it hits one of them somebody
Right?
actually in the high government, you know, in Congress, the Senate.
Yeah.
But somebody gets a pill somewhere and somebody dies.
But I feel like when it happens to like one of their children,
It's even worse,
that's
right?
when it.
It's-
yeah,
yeah.
that's when it like that's your heart. You
Yeah,
know, that's like
no.
you're moving.
That kind of grief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's when
It's
like, things will-
it's something that I still I can't even imagine. You know, my son-in-law was in my life for a long time, and he lived with me, and he was like a child to me. But at the same time, he wasn't my own.
right.
So I'm the voice for the people, like the family. They can't do this. His dad. They're hurting.
Yeah, no, I was just with my aunt and uncle on Easter a couple days ago, and yeah, it's just, I mean, communicating emotions still
Totally.
is so difficult
Yeah.
because there's still so much unprocessed to
For sure.
process. Because, I mean, especially with her case with this fentanyl crisis, there's so much unknown. There's there's just a lot behind it, a lot of anger, and it's
All
so
of the emotion,
understandable. It is.
Yeah, we
You
got
know what, though? We have.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say for yourself and for your family, you know, we have a Recover Out Loud meeting that happens every Tuesday on Zoom, and it's for everyone where we have other mothers that have lost either, you know, their children to fentanyl, as well as other people that are, you know, either trying to get sober or are sober. But it's basically just a group where everybody shares their experience, strength, and hope, or
they just
individuals will
listen.
share their pain
Yeah.
at that
Yeah.
specific moment, you know,
Yeah.
just because it's really important. One, we all have pain. We all go through something. But it's also really important for people when they are going through something, especially something so significant and tragic as a loss of a loved one, to be able to say it verbally out loud to others and have other people listen and care and say that we are here for you.
Yeah.
Whatever you need, please talk to us. Please reach out, because as we all know, when you are isolate and when you're quiet and when you keep your pain inside, that's when bad things happen.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's you are just turmoil inside your brain, or, you know, you seek out into other negative things that are harmful. And then it starts a kind of a
It's so
role,
true.
you know?
Because, I mean, it's energy, right?
Yeah.
Like, we have energy in us, positive, negative. When you have negative energy like that pent up in you and you're not releasing it and you're not channeling it, it's going to come out.
For sure.
And finding a way to channel it in a safe place.
Totally. And that's
is
super welcoming.
amazing.
Like, we've had people just like cry. You know, they go to share, and sometimes
But that's what you
emotion
need.
Yes,
That's
emotion is weird. It hits people at very odd times, and you know, that's what it's all about, to be able to have a place for you to come and feel welcomed, wanted, loved, and start your healing.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we're definitely going to have to join in.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's every week, 6 p.m.
On
Pacific
Tuesdays.
Standard Time. Yep. And it's just on Zoom. So you can literally log in from anywhere.
Yeah.
It's the link is in our bio.
Even too, like, and I'm asking this for others. I'm sure sometimes people are scared to like maybe show their face. You can just
Oh yeah,
tune in,
you
right?
can just tune
You
in.
can
You don't have to
totally.
turn
So
your.
that's
You don't
so
have
great
to
for
turn
people.
your.
Yes.
Sometimes
Turn
You
your
always
you just
camera
need
on.
that first
Yes.
step, right?
Yeah.
Of like just listening
Totally.
to others.
Matter of fact, more than
Yeah.
50% don't turn the camera
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
There's a group of people that are just like, we have some diehard regulars that you know, they tune in every week, and you know, and
That's
it's
like therapy right there,
it is.
right?
It's pure support. It's you know, it's one person in pain helping another person in pain. You know, and that's so in the 12-step community, we, you know, in that the togetherness and the unity, we know how to come together regardless of age, race, sexual identity, creed, religion, lack of religion, political affiliation.
We're all one.
For a common bond, and that common thing is that what we all humans experience is pain.
Yeah.
Like that is our common bond. We all go through pain. Even those people that do negative comments on our page, I'm like, how much pain are you in?
A lot.
To not have empathy.
Yeah.
You don't have to have sympathy, but to have like empathy for that person, for that. I mean, people have said, good that your daughter doesn't have him. At least she's not with an addict anymore. And I was like, oh, you know, at those ones, like when they try to hit me there, I want to go through the phone and grab them by the neck and pull them back through the phone. But then I just ignore it, and most of the time I just delete something that's like that negative. Yeah. Sometimes if it's really like funny negative, I just pin it to the top and let our followers go at them.
Yeah. Let the comment section go.
Yeah, it's just pin the negative one to the top.
It is so cool to see, though. I feel like since social media started, I'm sure you've really seen it. Like, people are getting a lot better. I have faith in humanity. I do. Like, I'm watching from when it used to be like pretty much mostly trolls. Like, it was like 90% trolls. And now it is cool to be nice. Yeah. People are sticking up for, you know, each other and what they believe in and what's good and what feels good. And it's so cool to see. So I love to hear that. You could just, rely on, you know, the fans
because like
come in and,
Joe,
you know,
Joe Rogan taught us not to just, well, he doesn't read them at all, but
it's post and ghost.
He said post and ghost, but it's different when you're dealing with pain in a platform, a community platform that's about support.
Because you're wanting to connect.
We want to connect. We want to read the comments. Yeah. We want to comment back.
Exactly.
Some people are actually seeking treatment and want to reach out and say, I need help. Like, how do I get into one of your guys' facilities? You know, so it's like we have to be cognizant and respond so that we're providing the proper information back to these individuals so that they can get into one of the proper treatments of ours that fits them perfectly. Yeah. You know?
So if you need help, give us a bill.
No, but it's true. Yeah. And that's what's like so.
And Natalie Eva Marie will answer the phone. Yep. Dude, I'm gonna dedicate a day to where you answer the phone.
See what happens. I like it.
I mean, I have to
you won't be able to answer every call, but
but I'll answer phones for sure.
That'd be cool.
I feel like I would have to do a
training.
No. I feel like I would have to do a disclaimer because of
you don't know.
Would we be okay legally doing that?
Yeah.
And I could just be like,
oh, you mean like film it?
No, I mean just literally answering.
Oh yeah, you can answer, for sure.
I'll do a day of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Because especially I feel like in those moments of need, right? Like to have someone like you on the other end of that line, like I feel like that would just be, gosh, that would be life changing, truly. Because to have to make that call, you're clearly in that headspace.
Oh, sure.
You know, you're in a dark, deep spot.
Like, we've been in that headspace before, so that's why.
Yeah,
you know,
and it's like
it's a 1,000-pound phone when you're picking it up to make that call to reach out for help.
It is.
And you finally like your pain outweighs that fear, right? And that pride, and the pain's so severe that you're like, I need help or I'm gonna die.
Yeah. So I mean, whoever is on the other end of that line, God bless you. God bless
I
them.
will tell you, a lot of times it's him.
Oh yeah, he's
he
really
answers
good.
phones often.
He's
That's
good
amazing.
at it. Yeah.
I love the phones.
I don't know if I love him on the phones, but he loves.
I love the phones.
You're an earthly angel.
Yeah, I love the phones.
Yeah.
And you know what I
it's really
like? I like that
important.
you're taking your platform serious, because a lot of people, you know what I mean, don't
No,
take
I
the platform
agree.
serious.
And it's a really big thing. Like she's not only
She's Megalodon.
Yeah.
well, and
Yeah.
you are.
It
And
is,
it's like
and it's more than Megalodon.
Totally.
It is.
It is
and
way
it just
more than
happens to be
Megalodon.
that's how you got your
Yeah.
platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, good
And
for
now
you.
you're really
Does
utilizing
Megalodon have its own platform? Does Megalodon have an
No.
Instagram page?
Megalodon doesn't. No,
Oh.
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Monster Jam hasn't done that.
I'm
but
surprised
no.
they haven't either.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean, they definitely should have had you.
I'm gonna
roll
go
out
grab it
to
real
the-
quick, so they have to buy it off me. No, I'm just kidding.
They should have had you roll out to the premiere for the Meg, because it
Right?
would have been having you
Oh,
and
man.
Jason Statham together. Oh,
How cool would that
I
have
mean,
been?
which they've done that kind of stuff before. They actually just did it with like this new King Kong movie.
Oh, okay.
And Godzilla. I should know the name of it because I've
Yeah,
seen it playing
yeah.
like the commercial every
Okay.
week in the last month. But yeah, no, they do that sometimes. So I would have loved.
Yeah, that
to
would have been
done
great.
That.
That
Maybe
would've been
Meg
awesome.
3.
And Jason
Yeah.
Statham seems like from what I've seen, he seems like a really cool dude, and
Yeah.
he does all his like.
His stunts.
Oh
right?
yeah, so I
everything.
think he would be like super all about it.
I'd
To
go on
even
Jam should get with him and get him in a truck. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be cool.
even if he just stood on it,
Oh, you know what? There we go.
you know.
With his shirt off.
Yeah, of course.
No, he would do some like that dude. The way that he can do like Pilates type movements or
Yeah.
I will
It's like
admit on
He-
air
I was
that
just gonna say the guy's got to be a black belt,
Yeah,
right?
so-
He,
Jason
The way he
Jason
moves.
Statham, Donna has a crush on him.
Really?
Yeah. Why did you do like
Yeah,
that?
just wondering. That's all.
Donna's my wife.
Oh well, I mean, who doesn't have a crush
I
on him?
I mean I do.
yeah.
Do you, Shane?
No,
No?
No.
Who do you have a crush on?
Jonathan.
we all know.
That's
Jonathan and
Oh.
Jonathan and
Okay,
his
wait, that's funny
and
because
his
they kind
transcend
of already
body.
mentioned this before we even
Yeah.
got started on this. So yeah, romance runs deep.
I'm
Got
keeping
it.
Yeah.
my vision
Yeah.
direct.
Yeah.
It is very,
Loyal.
Yeah.
Loyal, yeah.
oh yeah.
That's great.
Loyal to the cause.
Yes. But we're definitely gonna have to come out to one of your shows at some point.
I
To support.
absolutely think
I want to
so.
go to the finals.
I think
Oh, yeah.
yes.
That's
Keep
so
us
fun.
updated.
We're
Yeah, for sure.
we're gonna
Even
make
whether-
the world finals.
Yeah, she's
happen.
gonna
I
make
think
it.
that's
We're
like
gonna go.
So
It's a
even if
great
you don't make it,
opportunity.
you're there, right?
I'm
Can
there,
you come?
and
Can we
you know,
go?
which is funny
get
because
tickets?
I would much rather be competing, but if I'm not, it would probably be better for you guys because I could just be your
Oh,
tour
yeah, you
guide.
would be- yeah,
you
right,
guys just
right.
come right with me, and we will
Yeah.
go behind the scenes and see
That'd be
everything fun.
awesome.
For sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Keep us updated 100%.
I will.
We'll be
When
there.
is that coming up?
that is May 18th weekend.
Nice.
Oh, look, right before
Yeah.
our other event too, like the week before. No, like 2 weeks before.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank
Monster
you so much.
Yeah.
Jam.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
so
Thank
fine.
you
You're
so
amazing.
much
Thanks for
for
coming.
having
Yeah,
me, and
you're a rock star, literally.
I really appreciate it, and I just feel very much I feel with my family here. You
Yeah.
guys
Nice. Yes.
are doing an incredible thing, and it's a beautiful thing. I mean, it's a sad thing, but it's
Yeah.
also a needed thing, and you're giving everyone the hope, right? And that's what it's all about.
Awesome. Thank
it's
you
really
so
cool.
much. You are
Thank you.
definitely part of the family.
Yes, you
are.
When
Oh,
Yeah,
you
you are.
when you come in
We're
and
in
do
the
a
Meg.
yep.
Yeah, baby.
I
And the
love it.
megalodon. Man, how cool would it be to have a picture with next to the
Like
megalodon?
right next to it.
We are.
At the
Like
drive?
I'll be like
Yes,
this,
yeah.
like this big. Like I'll look like I'm this
Yeah.
big.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
gonna, it's
So
gonna
I mean,
happen.
the
The tire
tire
is-
the tire's 5'5".
Yeah.
So
The tire is the same height as me,
Not quite. Not quite.
huh?
You're a little taller than 5'5".
A little bit.
Well,
but-
stay
No,
Not
you
much.
got the tire.
Stay
You're
tuned because
good.
it'll happen.
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll
Yes.
take a photo.
Stay tuned, guys. We're
Oh.
more to come from
The Meg
Ashley
and
and the
Ashley.
Meg.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you nickname her? Do you just call her the Meg?
I call her the
sometimes?
Meg.
You
It's
do?
funny. I I hate that I'm even springing at the Baby Shark thing. I get the Baby Shark song all the time. It is in my nightmares now. The Baby Shark.
Yeah.
Doo-doo-doo. Oh, yeah. So I get that a lot. And then Meg.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'll go with the Meg.
Well,
Yeah,
awesome.
Meg's
Thank you
much
so
better.
much.
Thank you, guys. Woo! Yay!